Testing microphone, 1, 2, 3. There we go. My apologies, I was rambling to myself and didn't test microphone, because I have always forget to test my microphone. My apology for those who may hear some thunder in the background. Currently raining cats and dogs. And I think everything's good to go. One thing I am missing is a drink. Give me another moment. Oh, and something I forgot over here as well. Probably YouTube stream, so I can keep an eye on the stuff. So, looks like everything's good to go, so let's go and get started. Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Well, on the south side as the Pink Lin, we got Sayaki. I don't know how properly to pronounce that. Small on the north side as the red Isabella. We got Jean Bat 13. When CEOs, Isabella of course is nerfed from the cartridge counterpart, has standard boarding cost 2 radius 3660. All units get no plus 20% offense, plus 10% defense, and of course we get plus 2 movement range and plus 1 indirect range for the superpower. Lin is unchanged. The cartridge counterpart has standard boarding cost 1 radius 3660. All units get additional plus 10 plus 10. Ground units get additional plus 20% offense, plus 20% defense. And of course for her superpower, get plus 2 vision and see through hiding places with those same ground units. So let's get started. This is a pretty large map, 3 bases, 1 airport, pair of seaports, and temporary seaports in the middle, but they're landlocked. This map does offer a good amount of income. It's like 30,000 per player. More infantry, of course. It's going to be infantry until extra properties are being secured. Infantry there. Lin would next have 4,000 income, so she could go for bike infantry. Isabella next turn has 5,000 income, but 3 bases now, so it's probably going to be triple infantry. And looking at Lin, she does have triple base as well, but can only afford bike infantry, could not go for triple infantry. Looks like that gunboat is going straight for the comm tower area. Isabella is capturing some of these southern cities. More infantry, keeping 3,000 funds in the bank, so next turn she will have 14,000. Lin did go for a recon last turn. Tank infantry, she may seal the tank. Gunboat's ready to pick up some infantry here. Tank double infantry. Isabella has gone for a tank this turn as well, so she may seal it. Lin does not seal the tank there, goes for another tank infantry. Feels like she's going for a decent number of base skips. She has 17 units versus 19 units. So 2 base skips so far. tank, anti-air, and infantry. Oh, deletes the gunboat, so the gunboat now has been sunk to the bottom of the HQ. Tank, bike, infantry. Since she delete that gunboat, she's going to go for a CO on that tank there. As well, it does have an early anti-air and deletes the gunboat as well, so another gunboat has been sunk to the bottom of the HQ. Infantry, tank, and another anti-air. So Isabel's gone for a pair of anti-airs. Currently, Lynn has gone for 0 battlecopters. Howdy. I'm guessing you are the Sayaki, the Isabella. I'm guessing. Into the depths of the HQ, H2Q. I suppose the QNO does look similar as well. Took me a moment to realize what you're joking about. Capturing temporary seaport. Nothing's more permanent than something's temporary. In the line. Sorry, I don't know what you're referring to. Do now have a battlecopter, triple bike. Takes off a couple units there, as well, or Lynn has 14 energies, does get trapped. Tank, and bike. Does hit the entry unit there, picks it off, so gets nice 10 energy for Isabella. Another tank on top of the HQ. Of course, this tank can receive first strike, but leaves the follow-up tank there. Battlecopter ruffling its way down south. And Lynn's first anti-air is pretty far behind. Wait, if I highlight your YouTube comment, it says, "I'm Lynn." Jeez. Man, that translate feature did not translate all too well. Sorry, I'm just pausing the game for a moment. Here's the YouTube stream I'm looking at. It says, "In the line, I'm Lynn." Wait, I'm in the way. Here we go. Look at that. Oh. Man, what is that Google Translate? Okay, if I ever see that symbol, take a closer look. Oh, okay. Sorry. That is horrible. You can see why I got confused, right? Why didn't Google Translate that? Cause that's... Am I really an idiot? Like, that's clearly English, non-translated. Oh. And this is why I feel so retarded sometimes, because I think the world's after me. In the, like, I got so confused by In the Line. Okay, what was going on? I got confused by a line that does not exist. Let's see, Isabel's got 23 energy. Her CO tank is here on a road to expose, but not spotted. Both comm towers are secured by Lynn. I know people wanted me to turn like Google Translate features so they can hear my voice being translated to other languages, since not everybody's native English speaker, and even less people who are probably native English. But still, sometimes Google Translate just is horrible. And somehow two players, I think both one Ukrainian, one Russian, is able to have a full conversation. It didn't translate once for them. Ugh. Artillery. Anti-air, battlecopter, and bike. Right now, 141 plus 2 versus 126, but add the day-to-day fun, so Lynn does have the advantage. Does strike the poor defenseless meteorite. Storm did took a whole CO power charge just to deploy that there. We have some city flips there. Colonel Lynn has 20,000 income, with 23,000. Sorry, I'm now out of it since that Google Translate. Jeez. The advancement of internet failures, yeah, dead internet theory. At least in this case, there's people behind it. I swear, Google is doing a good job also destroying it due to all their also AI features. After all, since Google's AI scrapes all the data from websites, preventing any traffic from being sent to them, it destroys the things that they are trying to scrape data from. And I'll mention a lot of their AIs are trained off of Reddit, which is hyper left-wing. Battlecopter, artillery, tank, and infantry. Does get a bit of energy there. Lynn's at 23 energy at the moment. Isabel's at 47, so Isabel's doing pretty good for power charge. The artillery is quite nice right now since she gets +1 range with it. Now I'm thinking about more. How on earth did Google translate "I'm Lynn" as in the line? Like, what language did it think it was? Like, what language did it think it was? Is there any way for me to look at the translate? That is... no? Yeah, there's no way for me to see what language to try to translate from to. Then that's a translate feature or icon, and not some sort of like autocorrect thing. Which I don't know if Google has an ABC autocorrect when it comes to that sort of thing. That's clearly the character in A translate. Oh, got a bomber and triple infantry for Isabella. Another strike the column tower there. Lynn's getting a good amount of power charge. That bomber will pose a threat. Currently there's one anti-air in the region, and there's multiple battlecopters there, so this anti-air could be drawn out to be taken out. Let's see over here. I don't see any... nope, there's an anti-air way down here. So right now, Isabel or Lynn is vulnerable to a bomber. She has a good squadron of battlecopters raffling about to engage other battlecopters, but the bomber has no real counter. Anti-air, tank, and T-copter. Lynn's at 30,000 income, Isabel's at 24. Does pop the superpower there. Even +2 movement range and +1 indirect range. I don't think that any indirects are in range, though. Does strike the bike there, hits the anti-air, and that will basically make the bomber have free reign over the region. Going captures down south, 14 capture progress. At least the temp ports are total useless, as one of them does provide 2 vision. True. And of course does offer hiding spot, but only 1 defense star. Miniature radar stations, I think. I guess that's somebody's experiment with a sonar, but put on land, and probably failed at it. Tank, anti-air, and tank. Battlecopter does strike Battlecopter. 3F Battlecopter could finish off. Decides to use that to spot the force, make sure there's nothing there, which is not a bad idea. Does interrupt the capture as 14, that'll put it in 19. This has 0 capture progress. We do now have a battleship. Infantry in as well, so battleship, infantry, and double base skip. Push forward to get some power charge going. Lynn's currently, of course, at 0 energy at the moment. Had to redeploy out a CO unit. 5 tanks up here. We do have more than 5 tanks here. All comes down to who gets the first strike. Over here, there's nothing really to stop Lynn's forces. Bomber does reveal itself there. It might not have been a good idea to reveal the bomber like that. So right now, Dusters would minimum be a good idea against all the Battlecopters and the bomber. Maybe a aircraft carrier would have been a better option than a battleship to get out some seaplanes. Does shell the meteorite. A lot of tanks blitzing the way forward. We got artillery piece here, but all this area is spotted thanks to all these cities. Tank, anti-air, bike, and battlecopter. Does take out 3 off battlecopter there. 24, 31 energy, gets +1 CO zone now, because now this anti-air can be struck. But of course it is hidden away. Artillery is in range of this tank, just needs a bit of a spotter. Howdy. We now have a battleship here as well. Right now, if Isabella were to scout out the HQ, this infantry unit should sprint its way to the HQ and could actually get an HQ capture at this current rate. But of course, without caster vision, Lynn does not, or Isabel does not see all that. Does interrupt the capture up here. Lynn CO, nope, that was not the CO tank. There's the CO tank. Should move that one first, get some power charge. So the anti-air gets a good hit there. Max salvage the tank stays alive at 2% health. Artillery does move forward, but does get out of range of shelling that tank there as well. Tank, anti-air, and battlecopter. We forgot to capture the comm tower before attacking all together. Whoops. Does pop the superpower there, so we've got another Isabel superpower. Takes on the tank. Does take out the artillery. Bomber is advancing. Spots is nothing on top of the HQ. Could have sprinted to that HQ thanks to the superpower. Starting to capture the comm tower as well. Tank, infantry, battlecopter, and bike. Isabel does have a pretty good advantage. Battleship rotating down south, interrupts the capture. Some captures there. He's got the tank there. Hits the battlecopter there. T-copter advancing. CO tank hits tank, getting +1 CO zone. Very important. Strikes another battlecopter there. Isabel's nice even 48 energy. I just could have took that tank there by parking right there and taking a shot, but can't really say what the movement was like. Anti-air and tank do advance forward to some visual or to some cover. Battleship can now provide some fire support towards the HQ as well for its current positioning. Tank, battlecopter, and bike. Hits the tank up north. Oh, both my YouTube chat may have lagged a little bit. Don't have drop frames here. Right now I have a bit of a storm going on outside, so my internet connection might drop. That and potentially power. Hits the bike, hits the infantry unit there. Artillery getting preload and fuel. This one has 18. This one also has 18 fuel. This anti-air also has 19 fuel. Tank, anti-air, tank. Do have a full health, yep, does strike the bomber there. Of course, the CO tank has been destroyed. Don't know why the battleship wasn't parked in the port for recharging. Oops. Perhaps can't. Not sure. Maybe couldn't arrange it. No, it was right next to the seaport. May just want to make sure extra coverage down south. Can't really say for sure. It does have 3 ammo remaining, so getting relatively low, but nothing too critical at this moment. Artillery, tank, and anti-air. Looks like the YouTube chat may have disconnected once again. Hope I'm still streaming to YouTube. Looks like the YouTube chat reconnected. Yep. Looks like YouTube's having a bit of trouble, but looks like the other streaming sites I'm streaming to are relatively stable. So for those who are having trouble with YouTube, you may want to go to another site, because it looks like YouTube's maybe bugging out a little bit. Can't say for sure though. Isabel has enough for another superpower. Yeah, it looks like the YouTube chat bugged out again. Tank does hit the anti-air. Tank hits anti-air. Battlecopter hits CO tank. Tank does hit tank. Good hits there on these various tanks. Of course, artillery can shell one of those tanks, so maybe an anti-air. Right now, it's probably best to shell maybe the 7th health tank that's on the open plains. Though shelling the 8th health tank on the 4th wouldn't be half bad either. Lin's in turn of 192 versus 181, so value-wise, Lin does have the advantage. Tank does hit tank, does shell the tank there, strikes his tank there, hits the battlecopter. So she is taking a good amount of losses this turn, that's for sure. Battlecopter does strike the battlecopter. Finish off the tank there. Bombers max out efficiency, 1 ammo, 22 fuel, 26 health. Tank, infantry, and battlecopter. Does strike the anti-air, hits the battlecopter, shells the tank there. Does take out one of the tanks there. Of course, the artillery's in range of one of these tanks. Anti-air, tank, and tank. Does show and take out the meteorite. Right now, Lynn's at 144 versus 180, about a turn and a half behind. You have now Rig deployed field, does get trapped. And Isabel does join her CO tank together. Bomber, bike, and Rig does take out a battlecopter. Takes a bike there, gets some 10 energy. However, the anti-air is way too exposed. There's still a bomber floating about. Battleship's getting resupplied down to 1 last ammo. Flare, medium tank, battlecopter, and bike. Takes up the anti-air. Now there's a potentially 8 health anti-air that can engage the battlecopter. Another rig one field, which will resupply that bomber. That bomber is down to 3 fuel, so not like I can go back any farther. So one to save the max efficiency of the bomber. Plus, rigs can always pull out temporary airports for that said bomber as well. Does strike the bomber there with the anti-air, and Lynn finally has enough for her own superpower. She's been battered, bruised, and beaten, but she's not out of the game just yet. Tank, anti-air, and tank. Down to has 169,000 in the field. Wait. Why did the bomber not get resupplied? Is it because this unit was built later than the bomber, so it did the fuel check before getting resupplied the rig? What happened there? Also, I'm not sure for those who are watching YouTube, but you can see here it says chat disconnected, reconnected, so I'm not sure if chat's able to respond, at least the YouTube chat. But it looks like that 3 health bomber did crash to the ground without the resupply. Fuel cost goes with rig resupplying. Got it. I guess it's different in different games. Could have sworn resupply happened first. I know Advance Wars by web, but resupply does happen first. I guess Isabella was clueless as I was. Medium tank, lander, infantry, and anti-air. Does strike the tank, and tank there. Lynn does not pop her superpower this turn. Does take out the battle copter. The anti-air is in minimum range of all the artillery, however there's a nearby tank to hit that same artillery unit as well. Lynn still needs to get out another anti-air tank, and anti-air. Battlecopter now down to 19 fuel and 0 ammo. Oh, that bit of thunder did overcome my noise gate, so you guys may have heard a bit of thunder. But the background music may have couldn't hear over the background music. One reason why I do like having background music in all the videos I do, especially the in-game background music, it helps mask any sort of background noise. But if that's said, low fuel air units did reach the airport, temporary airport air carrier and cruiser, that refueling it goes before the fuel cost, that unit won't blow. So, God, if it's on top of property for a resupply, it doesn't crash. But rigs resupply last. Good to know. So there's a bit of inconsistency there. Tank, battlecopter, tank, and bike. Lynn right now does have 145 versus Isabel's 190. Bomber is a good hit there, takes out the battlecopter. Does pull out a temporary airport, not airport, seaport. Got now an aircraft carrier. This bomber is at 2 health or 20 health, 45 fuel. Bike, and infantry. That was getting the first strike there on the bomber. Is not using her superpower just yet. Tank, anti-air, and tank. Both players have the superpower. Isabella may pop her superpower. Does pop it. Rig does blitz away. It's the anti-air of her own anti-air. Aircraft carrier does park itself on top of the temporary seaport. 1 health bomber and 2 health bomber lands on the aircraft carrier, which is ahistorical. Bombers generally can't land on aircraft carriers. Too massive. Nope, does get trapped there. See, fumbled the game, and that scenario was too sad too, because Isabella could have combined the 3 health veteran with a fresh 10 health HP bomber. Having that bad boy ready to go would have gotten 6,000 as well. Yep, in refunds. Does take out the anti-air. Strikes the artillery. To give you a reference point, how big aircraft are, particularly bombers, let's go. A lot of the bombers are referencing use B-52s. B-52s weighs more than an Abrams tank. There's another temporary airport, or seaport. Takes out the teacup there. Bomber nukes the artillery, and does get finished off by the artillery. When bombers bombing the bike, hits the anti-air. Yeah, it's hard for me to say. The air bomber didn't have too much fuel remaining. It was a partial move. The policy could have joined, but maybe not. If anything, if leaving the bomber with 6 fuel means it burns 5 fuel, and then the next turn another bomber could have followed up and joined it. Mech infantry does hit the bomber there. It's a tank. Does hit the CO tank, knocking that out. Linso has a superpower available. I don't think deploying it will help her equalize the game. Right now, both comm towers are captured by Isabella. Seaplane takes up battlecopter. Yep. Does get trapped there on the infantry unit. Isabella's down 19,000, or Isabella's at 37,000 versus Lynn's 19. Yeah, this game's ultimately over. Yep. Though some players just don't surrender. Anti-air, anti-air. Joins the bombs together. Lemon currently, of course, does not have CO unit on the field, which is not too big of an issue. Tank, bike, and bike. Tank, anti-air, and bike. Does take out that tank there. Yeah, but it's not like a T-copter can just fly up there and drop a infantry unit anytime soon. war tank, tank, and tank. Anti-air infantry and tank. Let's take out some units there. Rocket, medium tank, and bike. Tank, anti-air, and bike. And does track the mech there. Joins the bombers together, so now there's a full health bomber. It's an anti-air a couple times. More infantry, seaplane, lander. Does strike the tank there. Anti-air, tank, and bike. Joins the tanks together. Bomber does nuke a tank. Strikes the tank there. Anti-air gets struck by a regular tank. Force of HQ capture. I don't think... I suppose a couple anti-airs nearby, so the capture can be interrupted. Bomber, tank, bike, and bike. Oh yeah, the battleship's in range of the HQ, so it gets shelled there. It's the bomber twice, does not knock out the bomber. Max level the bomber right now is 3% health. And does outright resign there. This is Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Before I get started next replay, I do need your restroom, please give me a moment. back up here. And there we go. So let's go on to the next replay. Hopefully, I'm not sure what guys looks like for you guys, but right now you can see down below there's been a decent number of, looks like, YouTube bugging out the chat, so not sure how choppy it is for you guys. Just want to make sure, different players, so let's do this one. Do that. A text document, there we go. Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Advanced Wars, Daisy and Tiny Wars replay. Spawn bottom left side as the red gauge, we got a random guy. Spawn top or right side as the blue whale, we got Izanagi 007. So let's get started. And when it comes to these COs, gauge course is unchanged. Actually, unchanged. This is the cartridge gauge, huh? He has standard boarding cost, 2 radius, 3660. He has the cartridge version of him, which is plus 10. Indirect naval units get additional plus 20% offense, plus 10% defense. So the not buff version. And of course, for his superpower, applied all of that globally, plus a plus 2 maximum range. Wayland's course has been buffed, and the cartridge counterpart has a reduced boarding cost of 30%, 2 radius, 3060. All units get additional plus 10. All air units get additional plus 20% offense, plus 40% defense. And of course, for his superpower, plus 300% defense. So, let's get started. So cartridge gauge is a little bit less common, since the buff gauge is just usually buff in all aspects. Couple more infantry units there. Of course, like any of the Advanced Wars games, the initial part of the game is just building infantry. Wayland next turn will have 4,000 funds, so could go for bike infantry. Gauge next turn has 5,000 funds, could go for double bike and base skip, or go for triple infantry. Just double infantry for Wayland, so next turn you have 7,000 funds, which could go for a number of things like recon double infantry. Just triple infantry there, so next turn you have 9,500. Gauge saying 6,500. Just infantry. Next turn you have 9,000. T-copter, triple infantry. Artillery, double infantry. Tank infantry commits a base skip. Triple infantry and a T-copter. And Willen does seal the tank there. Anti-air. He has only 2,400 funds, so can't afford a bike. Infantry. Think double infantry there. Gage may load himself from that tank there. Willen does bring out 12,900 funds. Could go for a battle copter. Infantry, tank, and infantry. Battlecopter, triple infantry. I do have comm tower. Okay, does capture comm tower for engagements. Looks like there's still no engagements. So maybe next turn there'll be first engagement. And the 10 turn mark. This map is just large, so it's a lot of gearing up time. Battlecopter, triple infantry. Willen now has 22,000 income. Gage was at 19 out of 20. And the first conflict happened. Anti-air, artillery, and tank. Gage this, or Willen this turn has 26,000, so it could go for something even heavier, like a bomber. And right now, Gage's first anti-air just got to pull in the field, so a bomber could reach the front line pretty quickly. Infantry, anti-air, infantry, and battlecopter. T-copter has dropped off infantry unit over here. Now the T-copter for Gage is right here. Got a gunboat down south. Artillery, flare, infantry, and anti-air. Gunboat over here, dropped off infantry unit. Looks like this gunboat may be trying to do the same. And this T-copter will not be over here as well. But this T-copter is very far from over here, so Gage maybe we'll get one city. Maybe not. This infantry's in the way. The gunboat may get trapped on this infantry unit here. No vision of it. CO tank is not range of the tank. Does get trapped there. Battlecopter, tank, mech, and infantry. and it does drop off the infantry unit there. With that gunboat lurking about, it might be a good idea to sort of just keep the infantry on top of these cities. It'll keep them secure, and his opponent will have to task a battlecopter or duster to clear them out. William's getting some energy here as well. Gets a good amount of energy, 30 energies. Battlecopter, anti-air, tank, and infantry. Gunboat spots his Nothing City. Does clear a path. CO unit hits CO tank, and this tank does take out the Wayland CO tank. Nothing on top of this airport, but it might be a good idea to CO the battlecopter, and the gunboat gets stuck once again, like a step bro. Does load up the T-copter with the mech. Gunboat can make its way back to the city there, ready to pick up the infantry unit next turn. So it looks like Willem will get all the outlying cities. Does strike the tank there, so that tank group going down. Anti-air can strike the battlecopter. I was thinking it was this anti-air, but I was mistaken. It's the artillery. This artillery looks like it can't be struck. Now got a bomber. Is he going to seal the battlecopter or the bomber? Seeing the bomber does have its issues where it has to spend its own turn to pop the superpower. However, before that, it will have a significant extra defense. Tank infantry. Might as well call it a stun boat. Possibly. Stun doesn't really fit too well, I would say. Takes out 2 battlecopters there, very nice. Right now, William is at 28,000 income versus Gage is 24. Looks like 3 properties still remain despicably neutral. This one here, this one for now, and the center one in the center of the map, in the center of the universe. Does get a good shot there. Double first strike on the anti-airs. Tank, anti-air, infantry, and battlecopter. CO's tank there strikes the anti-air, shells the regular tank. Flare strikes anti-air, infantry hits anti-air. William right now does have 130,000 plus 110. So Gage about 1 turn behind the moment. Anti-air, tank, and infantry. Gage at 18 energy as well. Wayland's at 25. CO battlecopter takes out the flare, sacks the infantry unit there. Infantry unit can hit twice. This infantry unit there is down 2%. Interrupts that capture. For the gunboat's region, just leave these infantry units nearby. Bomber creeped his way forward. So you've got 2 Gage battlecopters and soon to be a 4 health, 2 4 health anti-airs. Of course, the Wayland battlecopters have extra defense. Particularly CO battlecopter right now is plus 75%. Could start advancing towards this counter, but these infantry units up north just stayed idle. Shells call a couple infantry units there. Gage is pretty close to superpower, so is Wayland. Soften up both those battlecopters. Gage now has superpower. Wayland just needs one more energy. Tank, battlecopter, anti-tier, artillery, and infantry. No Wayland superpower. Wayland superpower getting him plus 300% defense on his aircraft, or plus 310%. Let's take out the CO tank there. This bomber at most probably receive 30% damage from this anti-air. Tank, infantry, and battlecopter. Yep, when this anti-air will strike this bomber. Oh no, I was thinking 30%. It's not, maybe 20%. And the counterattack damage will be a one-shot. Yep, Wayland's superpower in this version of Tiny Wars is basically a lightning strike without the lightning. And potentially you can shock rather than striking. Anti-air, and tank. Wayland's turn. Joins the battlecopter together, and he gets a little bit of energy going, and doesn't get plus 1 CO zone. If that would have been one, oh, does get plus 1 CO zone now. Anti-air, infantry, another bomber. Wayland's at 30,000 income. Gage is at 24,000 in infantry. CO's another tank. At this rate, I think Gage needs to get out a missile or two. Right now, what's making the properties not visible in half is the fact that Gage or Wayland has all 4 properties here, and this one flipped as well. That's where his 6 property advantage is coming from. Get a good number of hits there. Wayland's the 55 energy. He has now superpower. Pops immediately. Now his aircraft can be very aggressive forward. Nukes Gage's CO tank. And right now, Gage probably either needs some missiles or a full fighter. Oh, does get trapped on the gunboat. The gunboat gave him a taste of his own medicine. Rig, anti-air, and tank with another battlecopter. Oh, looks like the battlecopter does survive, down to 3% health. Anti-air, mech, infantry, and battlecopter. Battlecopter strikes battlecopter, hits a regular tank there as well. Getting a lot of power charge, 34, so it got +1 radius immediately. It feels like a clean sweep right now for Wayland. Strikes an anti-air directly. We do have 2 anti-airs ready to push forward, but there are 3 bombers and a good number of battlecopters to boot. So the anti-air on top of the HQ makes it a 3rd anti-air. That may need to be sealed. Seals the anti-air. Hits a 9 health bomber. Hits that bomber there. 2 health anti-air may get some good damage onto it. Leaves it on a 1% health. Or 6% health more precisely. Battlecopter at 11 health. Interrupts the capture up north. Gage's at 43 energy. Wayland's at 43 energy, so pretty even. Anti-air, anti-air, and infantry. Deeming it safe enough to get the infantry unit landing over here. CO power is now available for Wayland. He may deploy it out, but his battlecopter has turns been utilized. Tank, battlecopter, and infantry. Takes out that squad there. Shells the anti-air. Hits another bomber. He has his own superpower available. The good number of artillery, the problem is, he's fighting against air units. There's too many artilleries on the field. When a battlecopter gets a bit of recon pass, does not pop a CO power. Does take out Gage's CO anti-air, so denying Gage's anti-air or CO power, which is basically his only chance of getting back in the game. Tank, recon, and battlecopter. Takes out the CO battlecopter there, denying a superpower for Gage or Wayland. We're now 106 versus 144, so Wayland still has the advantage, though Gage is starting to come back a little bit there. Double tank, battlecopter, and infantry. He may just seal this battlecopter up here. May seal the battlecopter now on top of his HQ. More tanks hitting down south. This thing could hit on some of these units. Of course, with the mechs nearby, hitting this mech there in open ground will make them vulnerable to this mech. Of course, there's our cast division. Tank, bike, infantry, and bomber. That's why he didn't was CO unit on that battlecopter there. He wanted the bomber out this turn. CO's another anti-air. Another battlecopter, anti-air, mech, and infantry. Oh, something I just realized as well, the YouTube chat, the more close battle code, because it's unable to connect the chat. Please try again later. So right now I'm wondering if my YouTube chat is now just fully dead. Quick refresh, see what's going on. Looks like stuff it's still going. Anti-air hits the infantry unit there to get some kills. Does get some hits. It says the stream's connection quality is excellent, so I'm not sure if YouTube's up and going or yet or not. But it looks like it is. Anti-air, anti-air, and anti-air, going for heavy amounts of anti-air. Willen's turn. Bomber does hit the tank there with the CO zone. Willen's getting his power charge going up to 1925, and that's just the end of possible power charge for this turn for him. Does manage to take out Gage's CO anti-air once again. Gunboat right now is down to 35 fuel. Battlecopter, anti-air, tank, and tank. Fighter takes out battlecopter, but does enter range of the anti-air. But probably better if the anti-air would engage the bomber first. Of course, that is when CO zoned, so it only took 5 points of damage, and dealt 5 points of damage in return. CO's another anti-air. Mech, anti-air, and tank. I'm so surprised we have not seen a missile. Trying to capture comm tower once again in another city, but both those properties can be interrupted. Willen's getting some good pressure going. Bomber, tank, infantry, and bike. They'll strike the units interrupting both those captures. Takes out a tank. This bomber there knocks it out as well. Getting a number of good hits there. Takes the recon. Willen does have enough for another CO power, so he may deploy that out. Takes out that unit there. Pulls back the unit there, trying to secure the comm tower entirely, which at this rate might be able to. Though this infantry unit there can walk, hit 5 health, and the 8 health can hit the 6 health. Pulls back the CO battlecopter there. Multiple bombers now being pushed down south. Whaling does right now have 32,000 versus 23, so Gage needs to start turning that around. It's the battlecopter there. Does prevent that squad or unit from catching the comm tower. Anti-air nearby with tank is in range of tank as well. Tank, anti-air, mech, and tank with another battlecopter. Pops to power. Fighter goes for a recon pass. So we got the anti-air. Another tank there, so this tank is a little bit outnumbered. We do have more tanks being pulled up there. Tank, double anti-air, and battlecopter. Tank does strike the tank. Tank and anti-air. Does strike the gunboat twice. Does park the fight on top of the temporary airport. Does take out that tank there and pick off the infantry unit while at it. Guns have 120,000 on the field, whereas 109 has more than twice his opponent's value. Infantry unit does spot some stuff there. Does not spot the bombers, it looks like. Whether right now only has 15 energy, but should be easy enough to get him a good amount of power charge, but he will not be able to buy a superpower next turn. Fighter goes for recon pass. CO battlecopter push way forward first. Gets a good amount of power charge there. Hits the anti-air directly. Nukes the max out veteran C artillery, takes out the CO anti-air there, hits the bike or mech there, strikes multiple anti-airs and resupplies the tank. Hey, here's some random guy, don't need to worry about him too much. Now that we know this random guy. He's just one of many antagonists or protagonists you've meet along your journey. Does hit the CO battlecopter there. Does finish off the battlecopter. However, there's two bombers there and just outright designs. It's this Angrade saying, "Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching, and on to the next replay." I have time for one last replay tonight. I do have 3 from this week with an eye. So let's try to find something that's distinct from all of them. That's a map. Same person, same matchup. Let's not do that one. I said distinct. That is the opposite of distinct. Holder, Cass, a little bit lower ranking. And the last other replay I saw. Same person there. Yeah, let's do the colder one. Greetings everyone, and great here with another Advanced Wars Cities Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Well, on the south side as a purple cast, we got Roboto 58. On the north side as a blue Calder, we got Lord Zik. When it comes to the COs, this is a Nerf Calder counterpart. Doesn't have minus up here, but he is Nerf counterpart down here. Standard boarding cost, 2 radius, 0 expansion, 0 maximum energy. All units in the CO zone get plus 25, and of course get plus 2 health recovery per turn, but does cost funds. No power and superpower. Cast is of course a custom CO using the IDS soldier skin, or not necessarily skin, profile, model, picture. Standard boarding cost, 3 radius, 3660. All units get additional plus 10. All units in the CO zone get plus 1 veterancy level when destroying enemy unit. If they're maxed out in veterancy, they get additional 10% offense. If they have some element of defense, they get plus 5 or plus 10 defense. For superpower, of course, apply that global and give all units 1 veterancy level immediately. So make sure you deploy units first before popping the CO power. So let's get started. Meanwhile, in the IDS Asylum, not entirely full, since it is technically 2 IDS. Oh, Calder can repair the recon. Can't refuel it though. Yeah, I forgot about that line. And there was that one custom map that somebody made, where it's like, oh, here's a description. The was a comm towers only 5 plus 10% offense, and that went way over my head. Oh, I guess you deleted that, oh, you deleted your second message, which deleted your first message. A bit actually deletes all your messages on the chat window, even though on YouTube. Yeah, it's a slight bug when it comes to the chat windows. Oh, something I want to point out as well. I've been noticing funny things when it comes to Google Translate. Your LOL got translated from 3 L's to 1 L, which may not seem like much, but this up here was a pretty big translation, saying I'm Lin, referring to Lin's character, and got Google translated to in the line, so I had no idea what the person was talking about earlier. Weird things fall in Google Translate. I have to keep a better eye on that. Looks like Cass has weighted the recon there, you monster. Got a rig there to help rig the game. I wonder if it's going to be used to resupply that recon, help reconnoiter the area. Got a rig up here as well, so both players gone for a rig. Will Calder CO the rig. Tank infantry. And the recon is up and running. Though it's not really worth. That's a 3 health recon. No, I don't think I ever had a sweet corn casserole. Oh, got a gunboat there. tank upon the HQ, so that tank may be CO'd. And of course, Calder did the same thing, but he did not have the rig CO'd, so both players are going quite similar for trying to get that recon up and going. Cornelia. Well, it's also a bit too close to Star Fox of Corneria, maybe as well. Maybe if she rather than Veggie she was more luck, she could have been Cornell. Huh? Cornell. That's more a guy name, isn't it? Do you now have CO tank for Cass? Oh, Cassie. Cass. Both players got the CO tank in the center map, but however, Calder has a bit of a death blob going. It's not a menacing death blob, but mechs are still a problem against tanks, so infantry and artillery is probably going to be needed by Cass. Both players capturing the islands now. We do have infantry unit loaded up here. Maybe we're going to try to boost it over this way. Battlecopter, infantry, and tank. 20,000 versus 20,000 income. Got a mech. Infantry blob sort of advance way forward, but may want to advance towards the HQ and I will win victory that way. This infantry unit got hit. Infantry. Medium tank, anti-air, and infantry. Not much anti-air up here, so this anti-air will definitely need to make its way up here to deal with this battlecopter. And also got a battlecopter in the center. So another battlecopter is needed, though the battlecopter can strike or anti-air is needed. Battlecopter will be useful against battlecopter, but anti-air would be also pretty good for all infantry as well as a battlecopter, so maybe both. Medium tank, infantry, and anti-air. Another anti-air over here. Tank, and anti-air. Does strike the recon, hits this infantry unit twice. Strikes this poor defenseless meteorite. It took Sturm an entire CO power charge to get that meteor there. Same thing this one here. Mech there, ready to be loaded up inside the rig. I think Cass needs to go for some artillery in the center here. There's some mountain size here. Hell, even a rocket wouldn't be too terrible. It doesn't travel too far to be in a good position. Battlecopter, infantry, and tank. Instead of 125 is 123, so still pretty even for both players. The Recon's almost at full health. Tank, and aimed here. Bike, and tank, and a bomber. Calder may need to respond with at least a duster. This bit of stall fest is starting to appear. Both sides not pushing forward just yet. Cass is at 0 energy as well, so her CO zone so far has done nothing. There's actually been very little bloodshed this entire game, hasn't there, as well? Very little units have veterancy at the moment. Got infantry, battlecopter, and infantry. Cass, who is supposed to be specialized in veterancy, has no veteran units on the field. Mech, duster, mech, and mech. Bombers advancing. I suppose this gunboat can boost mechs a little bit forward by at least a turn. Duster heading over here. Meteorite down to 56 health. Got a nice line of infantry here, so the mechs don't want to engage into that. It'll be on equal footing, which is not cost effective. Tank, artillery, and another tank. Interrupts the capture up north, 24,000 versus 22,000 income. This city here and this city here are despicably neutral, and Cass owns both of these cities as a counterpart as well. Also, both of these, well, Calder owns both these centerpieces, so some asymmetry there. Medium tank, battlecopter, and infantry. But right now, Calder has more than majority of map control. Barring this little flank here. Gotta be careful of the duster. Oh, destroys that poor defenseless meteorite. Mech, battlecopter, and tank. Cass a CO unit there. Finally got use of her CO zone. Getting 3 power charge and a deficiency 2 infantry unit. Infantry units charging way forward, hitting some of those mechs. Somehow the mech here The same amount of health damage as the one on the road. And with this mech having, I suppose, one less defense star, that's why I took extra damage. The bridge on river as opposed to bridge on sea. So got the infantry unit there. Battlecopter heading over to the east. Both mechs moving forward. However, both these can receive a first strike. Artillery is a little exposed now. Baby Shrumpy uses bait. Throws that meteorite. Managed to hit that anti there. Okay, so taking out the meteorite allowed him to get some good strikes here. Takes out the anti as well. So now this force is surrounded. At least from this side. Of course, this map is flat. Take that, globe cards. Starting to do a front shift, even banning this region there. The recon is still alive at full health. Battlecopter, mech, and tank. Cass is still at 3 energy. Hits the mech twice. Bomber hitting over here. Hits that infantry unit there. When it comes to CO tank, has plus 65% defense at the moment. Of course, Carl doesn't really care about generating power charge for his CO zone. But the extra firepower is still pretty nice. Mech does take a strike there, hits the medium tank on top of the forest. Sacks hit that bike thrice. Medium tank hits the regular tank. Takes out the infantry unit there. Mech hits that tank once. Mech hits that tank twice. Does not hit that tank thrice. Of course, now Cass can re-CO any of these units. Like this tank right here, I think that'd be a great unit for a CO zone. Or I could use this tank here or this duster. A lot of good options, honestly. A lot of extra veterancy there. And power charge. Nukes the rig. No longer rig the game. It's the anti-air. Duster is in range of the bomber, barring the units in front of it. Tank moves over here now, getting a lot of extra power charge. Now Cass is finally able to use her CO zone. And got enough power charge to get to deploy her superpower next turn. Yep. Right now, Calder looks like to be down by a full turn. He probably overcommitted a little bit over on this flank here. The next are still slow to catch up these properties. And got these forces overrunning over here as well. So I think the big front shift was not good for Calder. And so for 216 versus 195. Does take out the tank there. Hits that tank there. Duster strikes the bomber. ATR sacks itself on the bomber. Battlecopter hits battlecopter. Tank hits tank. Need to interrupt the catch of that comm tower. He has an infantry unit nearby for that. Battlecopter's down to 1 ammo, 30 fuel. Tank, mech, and anti-air. Cast made for superpower. Remember to spawn units first. Looks like she lost out some veterancy there. Maybe she doesn't even know what units she needs for veterancy at the start of turn, which is actually a valid argument, because you don't know how much damage you would realistically do, only hypothetical damage. Mech. It's a good amount of max of veterancy units. Duster does take out the Duster. Tank, Battlecopter, Tank, and Mech. It's for 182 versus 139. Holder has fallen a bit more behind. Takes out the Bomber. It's the Battlecopter. The extra defenses come in. All of the units could potentially have up to plus 45% defense. Threatening the HQ, which, to be frank, with the repair and extra defense, this could actually be a genuine threat right there. Anti-air does strike the Duster. Mech, tank, tank. Strikes Calder's tank directly, takes out that unit there. Hits Calder's tank twice. Does not finish off, puts it down to 5%. Does take out the infantry unit there, so Calder's tank will be going down. Cass gets +1 CO zone. Tank, medium tank, and infantry. Also should be ending the turn with 144 versus 129. Of course, the two front lines still smashing each other again, so it could be another bloody turn. Could seal the tank there. Probably gonna need to seal this tank. Could seal the artillery meant. Does not finish off the veteran tank. CO's tank. Takes out Battlecopter, hits the anti-air, takes out the tank. Hits the Duster. Battlecopter strikes the tank there. Battlecopter is out of ammo, 17 fuel, and also max out veterancy. Battlecopter, triple infantry. Good amount of picks right there. You got a pretty good core of medium tanks in the center, and joins the CO tanks. Double anti-air and anti-air. So 12,000 funds the bank, could go for a Battlecopter. Property's being captured over here, so got one property despicably neutral. Rig artillery tank. Does take another medium tank there. Sacks the mech on the regular tank. Calder's command tank hits the regular tank there. Remember, this is out. Oh, that one has 1 ammo. Which Battlecopter actually ran out of ammo? This one. CO power pop before deploying any units there, missing out some veterancy. In this case, an anti-tank would be a very good idea to get +1 veterancy on. 1 health tank here. Got some healthy tanks here, so maybe join the 1 health tank on one of these tanks. I may soon to be wounded. Incoming now is 24,000 versus 23,000. Battlecopter strikes a medium tank. And that battlecopter now has a full resupply, ammo, fuel, and health. Battlecopter down 0 ammo. I'm surprised how many 0 ammo battlecopters that Calder's been maintaining. Another veteran battlecopter here with 1 ammo. Tank, infantry, and actually that's a base skip. Another pair of medium tanks and a mech. The APC's up eventually too. The rig. A veteran rig. It's a born killer, I think. The rig right now does have plus 15% firepower. Here's the battlecopter there. Trying to go for the HQ capture, which is actually quite feasible right now. It's the battlecopter twice. I think that's going to be game. I don't see any way for that capture to be interrupted. Yep, and that appears to be game. And that is the end of the replay. This is Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. As mentioned beforehand, that shall be my last replay for tonight, so everyone, thank you for watching, have a good evening, and get some good rest.